Welcome to BUA 668 e-commerce. I'm going to take just a couple minutes to give you a quick overview of the course so that we're on the same page and you feel comfortable. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. My email is njones@maine.edu, and that's the email we'll be using. You've already seen the technology video, so I don't need to go into that. But just very quickly, as you saw in the technology video, we will be using Gmail, Blackboard, probably the Google Suite, and in Blackboard you will see all the content. We've gone over that, so I won't waste time on that. However, the course itself is broken up into 3 sections. One tiny section, 10%, is I will be asking you to create a couple of web pages using HTML and CSS. This is basic coding. It's very easy. There's a podcast or video on both, and you should be able to follow that pretty easily. The last part is the participation, which will bring us all together. The purpose is to generate discussion and collaboration amongst the class. So we will have 6 weeks of class, 4 postings per week, but I'll get into that in a second. And the lion's share of the course is a consulting project where the idea is that you learn the best if you can actually apply the knowledge that you're learning. The textbook is Electronic Commerce. I've got the 10th edition here. There's an 11th edition. They actually don't change it that much, so that's why I say here, if you can find an older edition at a better price online, that's fine. The textbook does not change that much. Okay, so the consulting project, as you saw in the technology video, all of the content and the instructions and the submission space are in Blackboard. And so what's going to happen now is that I will assign teams. I attempt to create balanced teams. I will assign them. And the first thing the teams have to do is bid on the clients that I send to you. And the bidding process is quite simple. If there's 2 teams, 2 clients, basically you say, well, we would bid 80% on client A because of our interest and expertise. We believe, and you would say why, we believe we could add value to this client, and therefore, we think we should be assigned this client. So I will ask you to bid on that, and then after that, we will actually get started. This is a very intense class, 6 weeks. There's an entire semester. So my advice to you is do not ever procrastinate. Stay on things. Get it done. Don't ever stop. Don't take a break until the class is over. Just keep going and hammer everything out as soon as possible, or as some people would say, get her done. Communication is huge. You need to keep in touch with your clients. Sometimes they're not terribly responsive, but at least you can try. And don't ever hesitate to communicate with me, and of course with your teammates. You'll be communicating constantly on email and Google Drive and probably Skype and Google Hangout. So, don't be tempted to put things off. Okay, so the web assignment is 10%. As I said, there's a couple of videos on the HTML and the CSS, and it's really not hard. Just follow along on the video. You can stop it as you create your web pages, but it's kind of fun. It's a hands-on activity. You can kind of get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of how web pages are made. You'll be sending them to the MBS server, so you see how that's done. You get to experience client-server architecture and FTP, file transfer protocol. So those are done. We're going to get them done very quickly in the first week. So the web pages are due by June 8th. The CSS, where you're just adding a little bit of formatting and style, is due on June 11th. That's quite simple. So watch the videos and follow along. Okay, the consulting project, quickly, as you can see here, it is pretty intense. So first thing, you're going to, as a team, do a team contract, which are the rules behind your team. Attendance, participation, quality of work, consequences of failing to adhere to the rules, which ultimately should be, if somebody checks out, doesn't participate, and is a drag on the team, they can be fired, or the team will agree to give them a bad grade, because largely each person's individual group grade is determined by the team evaluations, because I can't know what you're doing. I have to rely on your honest assessment of the team member. So that is huge. And one thing I will say is that for every major deliverable in Blackboard, I've provided you with at least one, but oftentimes 2 or 3 examples, because that reduces the learning curve quite a bit and puts you well ahead so that you can really hit the ground running. So you'll be doing a team contract. The SWOT is huge. The SWOT is your analysis of the company itself. That would be the strengths and weaknesses, the internal part. As objective consultants, what are you able to observe? What can you go out and do some research, find other things about this company in the news and any kind of reports about them? The biggest part of the SWOT is the external part. This is where you're going to be doing a lot of research on the competitors, consumer trends, emerging technologies, legal issues that will have an impact on your client. For example, if they were a wastewater company, there'd be a huge amount of regulations that they would have to adhere to that could have a huge impact. The economy is also huge, but there will be a video on the SWOT as well that will hopefully help you with that, and there are a few examples. We'll then do benchmarking, because why reinvent the wheel? Benchmarking is hugely helpful. You see what others have done. You get great ideas. You can help your client and save yourself a huge amount of time by doing a benchmarking analysis. And even though I have them in a linear order, you actually may want to do benchmarking simultaneously with the SWOT, because that could help you with the SWOT. The B2B analysis is looking at the transactional part of the business. How can you help them with things like customer relationship management systems, supply chain management systems, e-procurement, e-logistics? If you were the Collins Center for the Arts, an automated ticketing system. This is where looking at the operations, how can you use e-systems to help them be more efficient, more effective, understand their customers more. E-revenue models, this is right out of chapter 3 in the textbook, and that is, well, right now they are making money by, let's say, selling tickets, but can you go back to your benchmarking analysis? This is where this can be very helpful, and see, are there new innovative things happening out there, other ways for them to make money that neither they nor you would not necessarily think of until you start benchmarking and see what else is going on out there. And then, of course, you will be creating a website for them. There's a video on Wix, which is a content management system, very easy to use. A sitemap helps you develop the organization for your website. And then, of course, the marketing plan is huge, because you can have the most wonderful product, but if you haven't researched feasible target markets that are big enough to sustain and grow your business, and if you don't know how to reach them cost effectively, it's not going to do you any good. So that is a huge part. We will be testing out your websites. You'll finish it. You'll do some social media for your client. You'll create a little easy to use, user-friendly training manual. And then a final report is basically 1-page executive summary with all of the deliverables attached to it. And then I will grade you on your communication with your client, because I want to be sure you're sending your client things all the time. You're attempting to communicate with them. Okay, and then the last part is this participation. This is in Blackboard. You saw this in the technology video. Essentially, what I'm asking you to do is for the topics for that week, which are in the syllabus, you need to submit 2 articles of anything of interest to you within that topic for the week, with include the URL, if that's appropriate, and a short summary. And these should be recent articles, because things change so fast. That's the value that everybody in a consolidated way brings to the class, that we're all bringing in new emerging innovations and themes and news. So that's the purpose of this discussion forum, is to bring us all together and keep us up to date, see what's happening. So 2 articles and then 2 responses. And there's no late assignments. It opens on the day on Monday, closes Sunday night, and you can only get points for that week when you post. And that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Thank you.